Who is Jack the Ripper?
Who is Jack the Ripper? So, Jack the Ripper is one of the most mysterious unsolved murder mysteries of this day. It took place back in the city of London on the Whitechapel Road. His victims were mostly innocent women whose jobs was prostitutions. And the reason why he killed them was unsure, but while he was killing them, he also took their organs such as uterus as well as their reproductive parts. Till this day, we do not know who Jack the Ripper is or why he killed them.
Jack the Ripper. Jack the Ripper was believed to be responsible for a number of murders in and around the Whitechapel district of London between 1888 and 1891. It was during this time that the lives of Mary Ann Nichols, Annie Chapman, Elizabeth Stride, Catherine Daniels, and Mary Jane Kelly were so brutally ended. Injuries of the victim include decapitation, facial, abdominal, and genital mutilations, organ removal, and possible cannibalism. But yet, in spite of the sexual injuries inflicted upon the bodies of the woman he killed, were unknown. Mary Ann Kellys was the first victim of Jack the Ripper. Mary Ann Kellys was a prostitute, and she was walking around in Whitechapel trying to find a home. But unfortunately, she was killed by Jack the Ripper, having her throat cut so deep that she was almost decapitated. Her abdominal and stomach area had violent incision inflicted upon both sides, and the lower part of her abdomen were partly ripped open, causing her bowels and internal organs to protrude out. She was found by the cops. Annie Chapman. Her body was found 1 week after the discovery of Nicole's body. Similar to the first victim, her throat had also been slashed, which causes her vocal cord to be severed so she wouldn't be able to scream for help. Her abdominal had been entirely sliced open, and she was also disemboweled. Parts of her inner organs and skin were even placed on her shoulder for all to see. Her bladder was taken by the killer, which suggested that the killer took these body parts as a sick souvenir. Elizabeth Stride. Elizabeth Stride was the third victim. She was found by a man who was riding his horse around the area. Unlike the other victims, her body had not been mutilated, but she was severely slashed through the throat, leading people to believe that Jack was probably interrupted by the man with the horse and ran away. Elizabeth Stride and Catherine Daniels were found in one night by the killers. Her body was found a mile away from Elizabeth's body. Her throat was severed. She was also disemboweled and had her intestine placed over her shoulders. Her left kidney and her uterus had been removed and missing. Her face was also severely mutilated. Her nose was removed, her cheeks slashed and cut through each of her eyelids. Jack the Ripper murdered both Elizabeth and Catherine in just one night. Mary Jane Kelly. She was the last known victim of Jack the Ripper and also the youngest. She was just 25 years old. Unlike the other 4 victims who had been murdered outside, Kelly was killed inside her own room. Kelly's throat was severed down to the spine, and her face had been hacked beyond all recognition. Her nose, cheeks, eyebrows, and ears were removed. Her abdomen had been completely emptied of its organs. Both breasts had been sliced off. Her uterus, kidneys, and one breast were placed on top of her head. Her liver was found between her feet, and her intestines were scattered around the bed. Her thighs, skin were removed of flesh and muscle, and her heart was missing, and it was believed that he took it with him as a souvenir.
Jack the Ripper theory. Throughout this period and now, people are still trying to figure out who the infamous Jack the Ripper really was to get justice for the victim and their family. There's many theories regarding him being a butcher, or in the royal fleet, a doctor that was sick and twisted, or just a random disciple who is good. But who knows, since he has never been caught, here's some of the main theories that we have gathered to present today. The butcher theories. The butcher theories is the fact that a butcher would have impeccable knife skills and definitely know how to butcher meat fast and preciously. Butchers are well trained at cutting out the organs of animals before selling their meats, similar to the precision with which the kidney of Patrick Andrews and the uterus of Annie Chapman's were cut. Elizabeth's right cause of death was one clear-cut incision that severed the main artery on her neck, which would have required more than basic anatomy knowledge and skill with a knife. It was also the fact that the killing and mutilations were in such a short period of time, since as a butcher you have to cut up the meat fast. Foreigner, another theory is that the killer was a non-Englishman working on the foreign vessel that trade regular with London. This could explain his less than perfect grammar, although many theorize the killer made this mistake deliberately to misdirect the police, but that a theory for another time and the ease with which he escaped. People even suspect that he was actually another American serial killer that was also active around those periods, namely H.H. Holmes, and that killer was also never caught.
Jill the Ripper?
Could it be a woman?
Theories suggest that Jack the Ripper could have been a woman. Some victims had their reproductive organs removed. The idea the murder could have been a female midwife. You see, at most of the time, Mary Jane Kelly's death believed to have the Ripper's fifth victim. She thought to have been pregnant. Kelly was extensively mutilated and, unlike the others, killed at home. A midwife could have had easy access to woman's house and could have slipped away relatively unseen. She would have also have some of the knowledge shown in the mutilations performed on the victims, and would have attracted little attention if seen covered in blood, since people back then didn't believe that women could be capable enough to be a serial killer. It's not exactly concrete proof, but it's something worth thinking about.
In conclusion, even with all these prevailing information, most of these are just theories. Was he a butcher? I don't know. Was he a foreigner? I don't know. Was he even a man? Who knows? With all these prevailing theories, there's not that much facts. There's not that many facts to base them off. Maybe he's even hiding within Cambodia. Jack the Ripper. He's been teaching in Western International School.